Welcome to the Superabound podcast, where vision-led entrepreneurs learn to build a generous business without sacrificing what matters most. You are listening to episode 331, Marketing Trends to Avoid.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we promise this is not just going to be us talking about everything we hate, but maybe a little
We
bit.
get to vent,
We're going
but
to
for
vent.
good cause.
Venting for a good cause. So we today are going to talk about some marketing trends that we have seen in the last 4 to 6 months that are all over the place and why they are actually a really bad idea for you in your business and why. The reason is I think sometimes with marketing, you've probably heard this, that marketing, the main job of marketing is to educate or entertain. It's how you connect with customers and all of this great stuff. But over the last little while, we've been watching some patterns that a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of that make me cringe, make us cringe, because they are ultimately eroding trust with your clients. And if you've been following along, we are all about relationship-based sales. And the very first component that you need to have a sale, a customer, a client that comes to you is the idea of trust, safety. So we're going to talk about things that we're seeing everywhere, and we hope you never do any of these. But if you have, we're going to show you what to do instead.
And if I were to search for the culprit to these things, I don't think it's people being stupid or,
No.
being, just out to lunch. I think that the desire to win the algorithm game and to have your content spread based on Instagram's rules, based on, pick your platform of choice, can become the goal that people are aiming for rather than actual business results. And so people are creating marketing that will get them more play, get them more exposure, but isn't actually vision aligned and doesn't help build the company or build the brand. So you're kind of aiming for one metric that actually diminishes the core metric, which is your business growth.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Um, if you are creating, first, like I think the first question to ask yourself is like, really, what is social media for? What is like, we're going to really talk about social media because this is where all these viral
A
trends
lot of
kind of come
marketing
from.
happening
It's
on
where a lot of
social.
people market.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, the number one job of your social media marketing is to create a relationship with a potential customer. A lot of people don't think about it that way. They are thinking about social media and they're going, how can our business go viral? How can we have a viral
Get
video?
viral.
Just going to promise everybody here right now, having a viral video does not mean you'll ever see a penny. In
Yeah.
fact, a lot of people go viral for the wrong reasons. And I talked about this on social media recently. If you are an Instagram user and you go to Be Superabound's Instagram, I share about this, but there is one trend that I kept seeing coming up that a lot of like cafes and coffee shops were doing. And it was like a point of view video of behind the counter when someone says, "Oh, I didn't want ice in my coffee." And then all the really funny ways that the cafe would like extract the ice and deliver basically a shitty product to the person. It definitely looked like frustrated, overworked cafe folks. In one of them, the person reached their hands in and took out the ice and said, "Here you go." And I was like, don't you ever fucking stick
Yeah.
your hands in
What are
my
you
coffee.
doing?
That is sacred.
What are you even
I was
doing?
so disgusted. I was very mad. And I was like, I would never shop at that. I would never go there. I know they were trying to be cute. I know they were trying to be funny. I'm sure it was funny to other coffee shops, but this is the first one that is a big pet peeve of mine. Unless your job is a comedian, unless the product you are selling is tickets to your comedy show, don't try to be funny on social media because the number one easiest way to do that is to make fun of people, um, to poke fun at your customers. And that is not going to create trust.
So rule number one, don't go for humor unless you are actually a comedy channel.
Or if it's funny, but you're not making fun of people, like the low blow comedy. I just don't understand. There's not a world I can think of where, as a business, that would be a really good idea. I don't know even how being funny at all necessarily makes someone say, that video was so hilarious. I'm going to hire that guy as my coach. Oh my gosh, that video was so funny. I'm going to go see that massage therapist. Unless comedy is relevant to the thing you are doing,
Yeah.
it just it's so much work to actually have a joke land. That's why comedians spend years studying their
Exactly.
craft.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time on social media trying to be funny unless it's part of you gonna if it's actually gonna build trust.
And a helpful way to look at all of these venting sessions that we're engaging in here, the ways to erode trust, the marketing trends to avoid, is through the relationship-based sales framework. So the way we teach it, it's SALE. You create safety, you show alignment, you display how it's lucrative for the buyer, and you show how it's effective. Unless humor fits into one of those things and doesn't detract from those things, it shouldn't be part of the equation. So creating safety is going to be, could be the opposite of that. They want to see your authenticity. They want to see who you really are, which brings us to the second point. There's a lot of people out there who are trash talking their competitors. They are saying how
Mm,
such and such product is garbage, or
mm,
how, they're spending more time on other people's
yeah.
products than talking about their own customers or about their own products. No,
Oh my
not
gosh, don't
effective.
do it. Don't do it. I watched a business that I actually really love and have bought from do this whole like takedown video of how they were blocked by a bigger name competitor, like spent so long and it just felt really petty. It felt really silly. I was like, you're not telling me any reason why your product is better than this other business. You're naming names, which I think is probably going to get this business in trouble if the bigger company ever saw it. Um, it just seemed like such a waste of space. And I'm like, what you could be doing instead with your time is talking about how great your product is, how much care and effort you put into it, all of the happy customers that you have. You could be doing so many things that uplift your business and are positive instead of kind of being snarky and petty about a business that, first of all, might never see your video. And this is very similar to the first one. Like, if you're doing something making fun of fussy customers, those people are probably never going to see what you post on social media and they won't care and they won't change, even if they do see it. But the people who are going to see that negativity that you're putting out are your followers, are your fans. If you are making videos that make fun of your customers or shit talk a competitor, in my mind as a potential customer, I'm just going to be wondering if you're going to do that to me.
Yeah,
It
that sounds fair.
erodes trust. It makes you look like the, you know, unprofessional person. So I get it. And I think that this often, as you said, Steve, this doesn't come from like people, business owners being out to lunch. It often comes from frustration. I worked in service. I know that not every customer is delightful. They're not always fun to be around. Um, People can ask for ridiculous things. Competitors can do ridiculous things. I understand that. But when you want to vent, please don't turn it into comedy for your social media page. Please don't go on there and shit talk the next business down the road. That is what you should be taking to your coach. That is what you should be working on with your mentor. That is what the break room is for, so that you can use social media to connect with your customers. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel how you feel. I'm definitely not saying anyone's feelings are wrong. But I'm just thinking, what is your customers don't want to hear you vent. They really don't. They are there to see how you're going to help them. They really don't care about how you feel. And I don't know that sounds harsh and I might get some pushback about it, but really think about what social media is for. It is not to vent. to your potential customers, in my opinion.
People want to know more about you. They want to actually connect with you, which brings us to the next point. Marketing trends to avoid controversial clickbait is what we're calling it.
Oh,
The idea here is that people will say, well, you need to be controversial to stand out. And so rather than just being yourself and serving your customers at the highest level, even through your marketing, you come up with a point that is, you know, it's going
shocking.
to stand out. But it's not actually you. And so it has to be kind of made up and dressed up, and then it becomes a thing. It's almost gross. And so we call it controversial clickbait because it doesn't serve your customers. It's just there to try to get more clicks, try to game the algorithm, and it's not going to build trust or even build business.
Yeah, I think this one is like it's another form of putting negativity out in a container that is really meant to build up your business and show what you can do and showcase you. It's putting negativity into that mix. And I actually think this one is very dangerous because what we have seen over the years is people who build their businesses from all of these kind of controversial points of view to get more likes, more clicks, more followers, more conversation, more haters, or whatever kind of the social media algorithm loves, they start to speak as though they are experts on things that they actually know nothing about. And then we have a world of people saying, well, I saw this video on TikTok that has 1 million views about how you should never eat this thing, or you should never drive that car, or you should never do this or
Should never
that,
rub
or
your
vote
eyes.
this way, or I think that one might be true. That was from Steve's making fun of me right now because I send him sometimes memes and videos. I love social media, but the average person is probably not researching the credentials of someone telling them an opinion. They're probably not saying, is this advice on spine health coming from a doctor who's a specialist in this field and they're trying to help me? Um, FYI, doctors don't give medical advice online, and I don't think anyone else should either. So be careful about the controversial clickbait. Remember that everybody's just free to put whatever opinion they have online, and that's great. But if you are doing that to sort of game the system, get the algorithm sending more people your way, you will end up with some big misalignment in your business and it might really hurt you. You might go viral for the wrong reasons. Um, I just think like what to do instead is like stay true to who you are, stay in your lane, don't claim to be an expert on things that have nothing to do with what you are there to do on that very small slice of social media because it will distract from your actual business. And there's probably more you can talk about your product, about your service. So that one bugs me.
Totally. Next up is the biggest temptation
Ooh, is this a new
of the
temptation?
of the AI age, and that is what we're calling sloppy AI. We, full disclosure, we use AI in our business.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot.
It's something we're proud of. It's something we love doing. And what we do is we make sure that the AI gives us ideas, gives us suggestions, gives us thoughts. It pulls from all our back content so that it sounds like us. It uses our principles and not just the internet to come up with its answers. And
I
then
don't trust the internet to come up with all my answers.
don't trust the internet
Don't
for all
trust
your
it.
answers. And even then, when we get that suggestion, we run it through the filter of our values.
Mhm.
We make sure that it is aligned with our vision, that whatever we put out is going to be coming from the heart and is going to make sense and be helpful. Lots of people put out whatever the AI said because that's just how you get more content out there, and more content equals more eyeballs equals more growth. That is not true. If you're going to use AI, have it as a part of your team. You wouldn't just accept a post from an intern and say, sure, you wrote it, let's ship it. You would make sure that it was good and that it was value aligned. And we suggest you do the same.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Um, it doesn't, the great thing is like when you're using AI, if you're using it to help you with your social media, if you're not a natural writer, you don't have a lot of content, it is a great jumping off point, but it's still a skill I think a lot of people think that they don't need. They don't need to learn, and I disagree. I think if you don't have a strong voice, a brand voice, you don't have a lot of back catalog, continue to get yourself or your team to really work on your social media, work on your marketing, work on your content creation. It's a big important deal. And in the category of lazy things, this one also really bugs me.
Mhm.
I'm very disturbed today. So in this category of things I don't like, that I think are really lazy, is using your clients and your customers as a cog in your marketing wheel. Now, I know a lot of us depend on social proof to prove that we're a real business. I know not everybody who listens to this podcast has a high-end coaching business like we do. So you're probably saying, well, I need to have 300 testimonials on my website and I need to have five-star reviews. That's really important to growing. I get it and I agree. But please don't use your clients with their positive reviews, their loving notes, their emails as a screenshot social media post that you're going to share with the world without their permission.
And of course, you probably kind of have their permission, maybe somewhere, but make sure you have it. And then when you share it, let people know that you have it. I always feel weird when I see, screen grab of someone's phone. It's like, your program changed my life. I used to be this, now I'm that. And I'm like, is this okay? Like they sent that to you and now you're sending it to us? If it's okay, tell us it's okay. Because otherwise, I just feel weird. Like I think I'm eavesdropping on a pretty private moment here.
Yeah, that I think about this too. Maybe I am more sensitive. Maybe we're more sensitive because we do work with people and we have a lot of their sensitive information that they share with us. There's a lot of trust. So the last thing I would ever do, I got a really beautiful message from a client last week, and I was like, ooh, I would love to share this with the world, but I'm not going to even ask this person because what they are doing is sharing with me in a moment of um, just really feeling the love, feeling the care, feeling the high and connection that I have worked really hard to build with that person. The last thing I'm going to do is say, hey, can I share this comment as a testimonial on my website? Like, thank you for your heartfelt words. I'm so glad that this is helping you and changing your business. Mind if I post your picture on my website? It just feels so like incongruent and insensitive to me that I would never do that. Um, there have been instances where I've said, this is really great. Would you mind sharing if I shared this with the world? I've had clients offer to make videos. That is really lovely. But I do think that it's our job as business owners, to do our own marketing, to not ask every single time, hey, can you fill out this survey? Hey, can you do a testimonial? Hey, can you go leave us a review? If you are constantly doing that, I think that less is more. If you need that for your business, um, make it worth their while. Enter people who all the reviews for the month, enter them in a contest. Give them something for their time and their effort. Match their love with love.
And I think that's the difference, right? It's not don't ask for
Sure.
testimonials.
Yeah. Ask for them if you.
It's align it with your whole business. Have it be a match for what you say you want to create, right? Match that love with love,
Read the room.
right? Because then the testimonials will feel great and
Hmm.
people will notice that it's not just an AI generated giant scroll of happy non-humans.
Hmm. Yeah. I always wonder that too. I'm like, is this even real?
How do you get 500 five-star reviews with testimonials and pictures? I'm like, you definitely made this shit up.
Maybe not, but like it doesn't look
It
real. You're
doesn't
not
land. It
showing
doesn't
that, yeah, it
hit.
doesn't
Like,
feel real.
okay, this is a customer who had an experience and is
Yeah.
now sharing their experience. It's like, no, you just farmed it out to a VA to make something look real. And maybe it's not, but then that would be the tragedy is that you actually had these great
Yes, you,
experiences, but because it's so cookie cutter and so transactional, it,
yeah,
it puts a question mark over the whole thing.
yeah. I remember someone gave us a 4-star review on our book, and I was like, why would that person only give us 4 stars? And everyone was like, don't worry, it makes it look like it's real. I'm like, it is real. I know that person. They read the book. Like, anyway, I guess it makes it look real.
Makes it look real.
Can't be perfect, which it's not perfect. It's not a perfect book, but we appreciate all your reviews, by the way, for
Yes.
the book. Anyway, so all of this, these are the things we're saying to a point. And you might be saying, okay, so now you've taken away a lot of options for how I'm going to do my marketing. The great news is because these are trends that we are seeing out in the world, and a lot of people are just doing these without really thinking about what might actually be damaging trust, it actually creates an opportunity for those of us who want a vision aligned business to do it better, to do it well, to be more thoughtful. So if you're wondering, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? I would take 20 minutes, 45 minutes, something in that window to sit down and really think about the experience you want someone who finds you on social media and spends a couple of minutes poking around, what the experience you wish they would have would be. When you do that, chances are you want them to feel like they can trust you, that you are safe to do business with. Hopefully, something that you offer is aligned with what they're thinking about, what they're needing and wanting, like right now. And then you're able to show them how working together might be a lucrative experience for them, how what you offer is going to be effective and aligned with what they need. So, if you think about your social media that way, you're going to get so many beautiful ideas that are not hopping on a viral trend, but instead are supportive to your clients that reframe what you are putting out in the world. And it will help you think twice before you say, I know, let's do a cutesy thing where we kind of poke at our worst customers. You might say, how's that going to translate to our best customers? Another thing I like to do is I dream about the clients I really wish I could work with. And before I post something, I think, would this be like a green light for them or a red flag? I definitely post some personal things on my social media. I'm not all work all the time. I post, fun pictures of our kids doing stuff and, I think I'm funny, so sometimes I'll post a little funny cat video or something, but it's never in a way that would create separation with the client. And I think that that's the point of all of this is don't create to separate from your ideal people. Create with the intention of putting something out in the world that is powerful and valuable because social media is full of garbage. Don't add to the garbage pile.
Your business is too valuable,
Yes.
too precious to throw on that garbage pile in search of likes.
Mhm.
And if you want someone in your corner to help you support that vision and to build on that value, we're accepting new clients. We'd love to talk to you. Head over to besuperabound.com/consultation to line up a call where we can work on your vision aligned business. So you're not even tempted to follow any garbage trends that will end up diminishing trust with your business.
Can't wait to talk to you. Have a great day.